Hey guys, this is Mr. Sal. We're going to be looking at section 7.4 in this video, which is just more applications. But instead of having just regular two-step kind of stuff, we're looking at multi-step kind of stuff. So I'll have to pay attention to a lot of the wording in this so that we can get things right. So to start us off, Victor has a part-time job that pays him $1,450 a month. His rent is $575. His car payment is $200. And his share of the utilities is $57. So the question, how much money does Victor have left after paying these monthly bills? So we have what his part-time job pays him, right? Which is this $1,450 up here. So we'll start with that. That's money he gets, so we're going to show that as a positive value. But then as expenses, he's got his rent at $575, and also his car payment of $200, and the utilities of $57. Now, what you could do is you could just subtract these straight across, right? And then you've got an order of operations problem, which is okay. Now, with the example that's on the left here, you could have put that in parentheses, and I'll show that, and then added all the expenses, okay, which is in the black right there. I'm just going to continue with what I think would be the most basic or common way of doing this, which is in the blue and red right here. So I would take first the $1,450 and subtract $575. So $1,450 minus $575. And again, if you use the other way, then you should get the same answer, which is really what we're checking on this, okay? So that's a 10. We'll borrow that, and we'll have to borrow there as well. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 14 minus 7 is 7. 13 minus 5 is 8. So just after paying his rent, he's got $875 left. Then we'll subtract the 200 right there. So minus 200, which is $675. So now we've got $675 minus the $57. So after his rent and his car payment, he's got $675 left. And then finally we'll subtract the 57 off of that. And we'll have to borrow there from the 7. 15 minus 7 is 8. 6 minus 5 is 1. So we got $618 remaining after paying. Victor has this much after paying his monthly bills. Next, we got find the total cost of 3 sweaters at $38 each and 5 shirts at $25 each. So we got sweaters and shirts here. And since we're looking for the total cost, that means we're going to add these two numbers together to get the total cost. Now the sweaters is showing that they're $38 each, but we're getting 3 of them. So that's a multiplication problem. And we could evaluate this right now, right? 3 times 38, which we'll do. 3 times 38, 24. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 2 is 114. So just in the sweaters, we're looking at $114. But then the shirts, we're getting 5 of those at $25. So again, we'll do the multiplication down here. 5 times 25, 125. So with the shirts just by themselves, again, would have been $125. The total cost is the addition of both of these. So we can show that as well. 114 plus 125. So that'd be $139. So the total cost for this one, $139. Just don't forget to label it in dollars. On this one, Sarah is saving money for college. She makes an initial deposit of $400, then deposits $150 a month each month for 3 years. How much money is in the account after the 3 years? Well, we're going to start with the original deposit, right? So she's going to start with $400 just by putting that into the account originally. But then it says she's going to deposit $150. So we got the $150 there. The $400 is the initial deposit. But then she's got the initial or the monthly deposits after that. So there's $150 for 3 years. Now, that's $150 a month for 3 years. So we got to figure out how many months are in 3 years. So there's 12 months in a year. Multiplied by 3 means there's 36 months. Which means we're going to take the 150 and multiply it by 36. When we add these two together, we will get the amount of money in the account after the 3 years. Now, by order of operations, we've got to do this multiplication first. 150 times the 36. So working this one out, we can see that the monthly deposits would have produced $5,400. But then, after that, we still need to add the $400 that she put into the account in the beginning. So 400 plus 5,400, so plus the 400 there, would make that $5,800. So after 3 years, without any interest or any additional costs or anything like that, Sarah has saved $5,800. Alright, so we're on the next page. Gabriel has two $20 bills in his wallet. He buys 6 party favors for his daughter's birthday party. Each gift was $3. How much money does he have left? So let's see how much he has to start out with. So that's the amount of money he has in his pocket or his wallet. That's two $20 bills. So we got 2 times 20, which means that Gabriel has $40 in his pocket. Now after that, he's going to purchase 6 party favors. There's 6 of those for his daughter's birthday party, but each of these was $3. So it's 6 groups of 3 on this one. So if you looked at how much money he spent, it was 6 times 3 is $18. Now remember, it's money spent, so he's subtracting that money out of his money that he had in his pocket or wallet. 40 minus 18, and when we combine these two, 40 minus 18 would make $22. So he'd have a 20, a Jackson, and 2 Washingtons left over in his pocket. Next up, Edith can make 8 quilts with 24 yards of fabric. How many yards of fabric would she need to make 12 quilts? Sorry, I meant quilts. So the first thing I would figure out is how many yards Edith will need to make 1 quilt. So to do that, I would take the 24 yards for 8 quilts, and I would divide it. So 24 yards for 8 quilts, it's just 24 divided by 8 is 3 yards per quilt. Now, if it's 3 yards for 1 quilt, and we want to make 12 quilts, then it's the same as taking the 12 and multiplying it by 3. It's 12 groups of 3 yards, which is 36. I don't know where I got the 24 from. 36 yards. Alright, next up, Mark and Jared are 2 competitive brothers that decide to play basketball. There are 2-point and 3-point baskets. Mark's team scores 6 2-point baskets and 3 3-point baskets. Jared's team scores 7 2-point baskets and 2 3-point baskets. Whose team won and by how many points? So we'll figure out first how many points each of the 2 teams scored. So we'll start with, looks like Mark's team, right? Now Mark's team shows that they scored 6 2-point baskets. So that's 6 groups of 2. And then also 3 3-point baskets. So that's 3 groups of 3 right there. Now we're going to add this together to figure out the total amount of points. So 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. Adding those together, 12 plus 9, shows that Mark's team scored 21 points. So that's Mark's team. Now we got Jared's team. And we'll use the same colors for the same basket. So 7 2-point baskets, right? Right there. So that's 7 groups of 2. And then also for 3-point baskets, 2 of those. So 2 3-point baskets. So it looks like this one will be a pretty close game. In any case, 7 groups of the 2-point baskets means that there was 14 points from 2-point baskets. And from the 3-point baskets, 2 groups of 3, 6 points there. So we'll add those together. 14 plus 6 shows that Jared's team scored 20 points. So it looks like Mark's team won. And it looks like they won by 1 point. 21 minus 20 is the 1 point. So Mark's team wins by 1 point. Now Sammy wants to save $475. At his job, he makes $12 an hour and worked 28 hours this week. After paying his bills, he could only save 1/6 of his paycheck that week. How much did he save? If he saves the same amount each week, how many weeks will it take him to reach his goal? Alright, so he wants to save $475. We'll come back to that because that is his goal, and that part of the question isn't until the end. Now what we know is that he makes $12 an hour and he's worked 28 hours. So it's like saying we got 28 groups of 12. So we'll do that multiplication over here. 28 times 12. And this shows that after the week of working 28 hours, that Sammy has $336. Now, it says he can only save 1/6 of that. So we're going to take the 336 and multiply it by 1/6. So we can make that over 1. And this should be cross-simplifiable here. 336 and 6 are both divisible by 6. And looks like that'd be 56 right there. So looks like Sammy's only going to be able to save $56 per week. Now I didn't label those. I should have. He's going to make $336 per week, and then the $56 is how much he can save per week. So if he's saving $50 every week, $56 every week, and his goal is to save $475 here at the top, then how many weeks is it going to take him? So it's like saying how many 56s are in 475. So we're going to take that and divide those out. Because how many of something in something else is a division problem. It's 475 divided by the 56. So long division again, right? 475 divided by 56. And let's see, it's not 9. It sounds like it should be something like 8. Let's see how this goes. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 5 is 400, plus the 4 is 44. So that gives us a remainder of, looks like it'd be 27 on that. Yeah, that should be right. Now, what this also means is that if Sammy had saved up for 8 weeks, he's going to be short. He would only have $448. He would still need $27. So how many weeks will it take him to reach his goal? That's going to be 9 weeks, actually. Because once again, the 8 weeks is not enough time. He would be short by $27. Alright, next we're looking at averages, or mean. So The average is finding the sum of the values and then dividing by the number of values. So this is generally how I show it, right? The average, you're going to add all the values, and you're going to divide it by however many values there are. So you can see in the example right here, they took all of these values, added them together, that's the 192, and then they divided it by 8 because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different values. So you take the sum, divide it by how many there are, and that is the average. So on a problem like this one, I would take all the values and add them together. 60 plus 91 plus 33 plus 52 plus a second 52 plus a 31 and then plus an 80. So I'm just adding these all together. And so going through this, 1 plus 3 plus 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the ones place value. Don't need to carry anything over, but 6 plus 9 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 10 is 28, plus the 3 is 31, plus the 8 is 39. So right now the average would be 399, and we're going to divide it by how many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So divide this by 7, 399, and we are dividing this, so divide sign right there, by 7. 7 won't go into 3, but it will go into 39 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. So we subtract that and get 4, drop the 9, 7 goes into 49 7 times. So we have 0 remaining on that one. So it means that the answer is 57 would be the average of those numbers. And we don't need to label this because we don't know what these numbers are representing. But this is our final answer of 57. So again, we just took all the values and we divided it by how many values there were. Alright, this is the last page for this section. So one wall is going to get a new coat of paint. The wall has dimensions below with the 2 windows in the middle that will not get painted. 1 gallon of paint covers approximately 350 square feet and costs $29. How much will it cost to paint the wall? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the wall up here like this, but I'm going to look at it without any windows, so I'm just going to erase those out. Okay, so we should get something that looks like this. So this is what it looks like now. It's a 25 by 40 foot rectangle, right? So what I would do now is I would find the area of that rectangle, which is going to tell me how many square feet the wall is. So I'm going to take 40 and multiply it by 25. That's going to tell me the area. So here's a 4. So the wall without any windows is 1,000 square feet. Now according to this diagram, and it I suppose it didn't really say, but we get to assume then that both of the windows have the same dimensions. Now this is one window, right? There's 2 of these, so whatever area I get out of this, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So I've got a 5 by 3 window, which is 15 square feet. I'm going to multiply that by 2, which means the total area of the windows is 30 square feet. Now, that square footage that's not going to be painted, so I'm going to subtract that from the wall without any windows. I'm going to subtract that 30, which means that there would be 970 square feet of wall that needs to be painted. Now this doesn't really answer either one of the questions, but it helps us to get to closer to the final answer, which or the final question, which is how much will it cost to paint the wall. So right now what I need to figure out is how many cans of paint I will need to paint the wall. Or I guess how many gallons, right? So 1 gallon is 350. So you could just keep subtracting 350 until you get to 0 or less. Or you could divide it, which is really what they want us to do. So I'm going to take the 970 and divide it by 350. Now the reason I'm doing this is because it will tell me how many 350s or how many gallons of paint will be needed to cover the wall. Now if I get a remainder, I've got to round this up because otherwise I'm short paint on this, okay? So 350 should go into 970 twice, I believe, which is going to make that 700. So how much square footage would remain after 2 gallons appears to be 130 square feet. So this means that we need 3 gallons of paint, which is going to cost $29 for every gallon, right here. So I'm going to multiply that by 29, and this will tell me how much the final cost would be, which is the final question there. 3 times 9 is 27, carry the 2, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So $87 is how much it would cost to paint the wall. Next up, a couple just finished remodeling their basement. One of the bedrooms measures 12 feet by 16 feet. The door into the room is 3 feet wide, while the door to the closet is 5 feet wide. How much wood baseboard did they need to buy to go around the entire room? So the first thing I would do, and it does say that pictures help, right, is I've got just a quick diagram here. And it's 12 feet by 16 feet. It doesn't really matter where you label these. Now the thing about the door is it doesn't say where it is. You get to choose where the door is. So I'm just putting in the corner really for convenience. And that's 3 feet wide right there. That's the closet. I'm sorry, the door. The closet is 5 feet wide. Now again, it doesn't really matter where you put it. I guess I'm going to put it over here at 5 feet wide. Now the reason why we have to account for the closet and the door is because there would be no baseboards along that those two lengths. So when we look at it like this, we are looking for how much baseboard. It's going to go around the entire room. So we could treat the room as though it had no doors or closets. So this length here would be 12 feet, and this one also 16 feet. So it's really a perimeter problem where we're going to take 12 plus 16 plus 12 plus 16. And doing the math on these would indicate that the perimeter is 56 feet. Now, what we need to do now is subtract. I'm going to subtract the door first, which shows the perimeter with the door is 53 feet. And then I have to subtract the length of the closet, because again, it doesn't get any baseboards either, which is going to be 48 feet. So how much wood baseboard did they need to buy to go around the entire room? 48 feet of baseboard. Now, of course, I know what some of you guys are thinking is, well, I've done something like that, and I know I couldn't buy exactly the amount, which is okay, right? And you got to take in some cutting and maybe even some mistakes on that. So most people multiply that by 10%. So, you'd probably need around 53 feet, but we don't even want to make this one that complicated. Just keep it at 48 feet of baseboards. Now a gardener is trying to decide how much fertilizer to buy for his yard. His lot is in the shape of a rectangle that measures 90 feet by 120 feet. The house on the lot measures 40 feet by 65 feet. How much area of the lot is not covered by the house? Now remember, it doesn't matter if your picture is proportional as long as it's a picture to help us understand. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the area of the entire lot, which is 120 by 90 feet, and I'm going to multiply these out. So just to start with the lot, it is 10,800 square feet. But then I need the square footage of the house, which is 65 by 45. And I'm going to multiply these two out. So the square footage of the house, 2,925 square feet. This is going to be taken off of the 10,800 square feet. So subtracting these will tell us how much of the lot is not covered by the house. So right here after the subtraction we got 7,875, and the label for this one is in square feet. Because it's an area, you guys, so don't forget to properly label that in square footage. Alright, so as of today, just so we understand, this was actually the last lesson in the class for Math 900. So we will review for Unit 7, but since everything should be pretty well known by this time, and that's why some of this went kind of fast, is because we do expect you guys to know this stuff by now. But yeah, the review may go kind of fast as well. If you need to look back at some of these lessons, then do it. But as of right now in the class, we're not learning anything new, and you won't learn anything new until you take 950 or 980. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.